What is going on, my beautiful people? I have something really special for you. We have finally released our Instagram DM profits. That is right. Listen, I'm super excited because this has been something that I've been leveraging in my business for the last 6 to 7 months, and I am finally comfortable with releasing it to the world. These strategies that I've got in this Instagram DM profits course is something that I've been working with my one-on-one clients on to help them grow and monetize their businesses. But now it is time to release it into the world and make it more accessible for more people. And so if you want to find out more ways to monetize your audience, doesn't matter the following, doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter how creative the content you got, but if you want to find a way to extract profit out of your followers, visit our website at www.instadmprofits.com. instadmprofits.com for more information. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Go get it. Go to the website. Go check it out, baby. What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to yet again another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. My name is Justin. I am your host, and I'm super excited to have you joining me on yet again another episode. We are growing this thing, guys. First do some housekeeping. First get some housekeeping out the way. Continue to give this podcast a rating and review, please. We do appreciate it. Whether you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or for all of the folks that are listening to this on YouTube, shout out to you. Continue to give this podcast a rating and review. That's the only real way that we really push the message out. We don't run any ads or anything like that on the podcast, and so it's really just through organic feedback and ways that this podcast is helping you that we get to be the ability to share this with other people. I always said that I would only do something that would allow me to continue to pour in and to bless people. And at the minute that I felt that it wasn't is the minute that I would pull the plug on anything. And so I am happy to announce that I feel this podcast is. You guys do provide feedback, and I do see your comments, and I do see your likes, and I do see your reviews and all that good stuff, and I see your views every single week. That happens. And so I'm honored that you listen to this podcast, and especially for the loyal listeners, I listen to it every single week. I endeavor to have really something valuable to give you every single week. I know you don't have to sow your time into this, but I believe if you're listening to this, that you do want to be intentional about making pivots and making the adjustments that life calls us to make, and really like going to that next level. And so let's dive into the episode today. So I'll first say, you probably heard the ad on the first intro part of the video. I want to say I'm super excited to announce that we finally released a Instagram DM profits. For any of you that don't know, I am a coach. I help entrepreneurs monetize their audience. I help them grow their platform. I help really people grow their businesses. And often a lot of that comes down to helping them with mindset and helping them really not just with the information, but with the transformation, and really helping them transform into the kind of people that they need or want to be to attract the kind of life that they want. And so it's less about what they do, and it's more about who they become. And so that ties in perfectly, because in this episode, I want to talk about how to be more versus do more. And I really want to kind of combat some conventional wisdom versus what actually drive results. So if you're listening to this and you're in a place in your life that you're really looking to drive some results, like you want to go to the next level, you may be looking to get a promotion. You may be looking to double your business or 10x your business. You may be looking for some kind of different quality of life, or have life on your terms, or whatever leveling up looks like to you. We often have this mindset that leveling up or becoming better means that we have to do more. It means that we have to work more hours, or that we've got to work harder, or that we got to meet more people, or that we've got to put in more applications, or that we got to read more books. And we typically have this model that says, if I do more, then I can have more. And if I have more, then I'll finally be more. So for example, if I do more push-ups, then I will have more muscles. And if I have more muscles, I can be somebody that is looked at to be a fit person, right? So that's kind of like the do, have, be kind of mentality. If I eat better food, if I do more, then I will have better physical results. And if I have better physical results, I can then be finally the person that I've always wanted to be. Or here's a good one. Here's one that a lot of us run into. If I work harder or if I work more hours, then I can have more money. And once I have more money, I'll finally be rich, or I'll finally be financially free, or I'll finally hit that financial goal or financial net worth target that I've always had. And that's really like conventional wisdom. And what I'll tell you is that that wisdom is wisdom that will immediately push you to burnout, because the only way in that method to have more is to do more. And the more that you do, the more that you have. And that's really the only way to get more out of life, is to find more things to do. And so that means instead of working 40 hours, you work 50 hours. Instead of working 50 hours, you work 80 hours. And now we're in this perpetual burnout phase of who can work the most hours and who can work the hardest and who can wake up the earliest or who can stay up the latest. And these things have become quite common in our culture, guys. Like, this is stuff that has become pretty prevalent. And I've honestly have realized this in myself. I would say I naturally have proclivities to just like work and work and work, because I do want more. I do want to accomplish more in my life. And the natural, just kind of conventional wisdom says, like, to have more, you actually have to just do more, right? And I want to talk about a counter argument to that, because I believe once you really lean into this counter argument, once you really lean into what it is to truly drive results and create the kind of change that's really sustainable in your life, that you would really find that there's a much better way to do it. And so that first way that I was talking about, which is more conventional wisdom, is, again, more of like the grinding and hustle mentality. But I want to talk about, and we've talked about in previous episodes, what it is to attract the kind of things that you want in your life. And so I want to unfold and really unpack this whole concept around be, do, have. So the first concept that we talked about was do, have, be. Do more, have more, be more. I want to spend time, and this is where I want you to start analyzing your life to learn where you like really should be falling. But you can really attract the kind of life you want. And the way that that's done is you first just become the thing. You just be more. So much of what we want out of life is attached to us just being more, being better. Instead of praying for things to get easier, just pray for you to get stronger. Instead of trying to find a way to cheat and hack and do all these things to get results, just become the kind of person that would substantiate those kinds of results or attract those kinds of results. So for an example, I watched actually Alex Hormozy talks about it in a YouTube video of his, and he says he's got this example of there were two girls that walked into a makeup store, and they were 12 and 13 years old, and when they walked into the makeup store, they were really giddy, really excited to like really start to learn and look around the makeup and look at blush and eyeliner and foundation and all the lipstick and all the makeup stuff that's out there. And so one of the sales associates walked over and said, "Hey, ladies, like, what are you, in here for?" And they said, "We're new, like, we're really trying to learn about makeup." And, they were really excited, and the sales associate could tell that they were young. And she's, and the sales associate lit up because, she loves makeup. And so she began to just give them a really good, like, description and detail of what makeup was and all you could do with it and how to apply it. And she was even, using them as examples and showing them themselves in the mirror and all that good stuff, right? And so at the end of this, the young ladies were really excited. And what the sales associate told them is, she said, "All right, ladies, you actually are becoming women now. And because you're becoming a woman, these are things that you need to start saving up for. You should start saving up for eyeliner and for blush and for lipstick and all that kind of stuff, because these are things that women do." And that's a really good example of really framing up, connecting identity with what it is you want to accomplish. I've realized for my life that for so long I have kind of gone against or really like had hesitation with truly leaning into the best version of myself and really leaning into what it was to like live at a high level and work at a high level and accomplish at a high level and really just become a high performer. And I really struggled and had hesitation in it because I often would feel guilty because of a disconnect between my beliefs, like what I genuinely believed on the inside versus what I thought I needed to do to become or to be a better X, whatever you plug in, father, husband, etc. So for example, I'll break this down a little bit. If I have a belief that working more and not spending a bunch of time with family will destroy a family, then I'm going to feel guilty for working long hours. If I have a feeling that only seeing my children once for an hour a day or 2 hours a day versus, hanging out with my children 5 to 6 hours a day, if I feel like that spending 1 hour is going to be detrimental to their growth and that that I'll miss so much out of their life and I won't be able to impact them at all. If I've got that feeling, then I'm going to have an adverse feeling or an adverse reaction really to doing the thing that I really want to do. And so often everything that we do comes down to our belief system and how our belief system aligns with what is rubbing us maybe at the core. I want to explain this a little better. If I've got a belief that working long hours means that, you are, focused on all the wrong things and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and you're trying to live somebody else's life, if I associate that with working long hours, then I just won't. Or I can take that same track of mine and associate that with actually this person is trying to provide and build a legacy for their family, or this person is doing their best to get ahead and build wealth and create generational wealth and do things that their last name or their family tree has never done before. Those are different belief systems. And so we are guided by our belief system. And so how this connects with the whole Be More is that when it comes to being the kind of person that would attract the kind of life that you want, when you really have that frame, it puts a lot of things into perspective. For me, I've had to come to grips that I'm a person that I really love to create and I love to work. I really do enjoy it. It's one of the things that I really do enjoy. And so people have to actually pull me. My wife and my mom is always on me, Mom, if you're listening, I hear you. But, my family, my wife and my mom and, other people, man, you're, working a lot, and they try to present balance into my life, right? They try to say, hey, don't work as hard and, work a little less. And what people sometimes don't realize, right, I think people that work extremely hard and when I say hard, meaning they work maybe long hours or they can stay at the plow for quite a bit of time, is that they actually genuinely enjoy what they do. And so they enjoy getting up. They enjoy, being busy. They enjoy working and all that kind of stuff. And so you could think that's some person, doing something out of, a need or something like that, when it's actually that's the thing that person enjoys. Some people actually just enjoy working. Some people actually just enjoy doing things that some people don't enjoy, right? And so I've come to grips with the fact that I just enjoy to work and I love to create content. I love to help other people and I love to coach clients and I love to make sales and I love to lead people and I love to do all those kinds of things. And so I remember growing up and, the new football game come out. Let's call it Madden, right? And you got back in my day, it was PlayStation 2 and, PlayStation 3, right? And that night that Madden came out or that night that NBA 2K came out or whatever hot game was out, we would go to the store, oftentimes at midnight to catch the midnight release. And we would go and, man, we would play the game from midnight all through the night, sun up, maybe take a little nap, wake back up and get back on the game. And we did that not because it was a chore, but we did it because we really enjoyed it. We really loved it. And that's how I look at work. That's how I look at creating things and being in my world and really enjoying the life that I'm living is and the ability to work and doing things that I'm extremely passionate about, that I really enjoy doing them. So it doesn't actually feel like time. Time actually goes by pretty quick. And so I kind of go on that tangent to talk about what it is to just be more. And first part of being more is you have to understand where your belief system lies. because being more is going to be very connected to your belief system. And so first, to understand how to be more is you got to understand where your belief system calls and where the lines are drawn between your belief system. And so for me, to be more means that I want to be able to be the person that would attract the kind of life that I want, and to be the person that will attract opportunities, to be the person that will attract people, that will attract opportunity, that will attract success, that will attract my dreams, because I become more. Jim Rohn says it like this. He says, you've attracted the life you have by who you've become. You have attracted the life that you have by who you've become. And so if you don't like the life you have to become someone else. If you don't like the life you have to be someone else. And so you can make the decision to go ahead and be more. And out of the being more, out of the essence of what it is to become more, become a better, and often this significantly connects for people that are listening to this podcast to marketplace, right? Like how, if you want to make more money, it's not just about you asking for it, right? The person that works at, let me not use McDonald's, because people use McDonald's all the time. The person that works at, I don't know, the gas station, and that person may make $10 or $15 an hour, let's call it. That person that makes $15 an hour, they're not more valuable than the person that owns the gas station company, right? They're not more valuable than the person at the top of BP gas station as a person, as a human being. But they're more valuable to them than them in the marketplace. So in order to be a CEO of a gas station and not a cashier, you got to be more. You got to know more. You got to understand more. You got to have more. You got to have better relationships. You got to have better information. You got to have better education. You got to have better models, better principles, better all things. And so as you look at yourself and the life that you want to create, how have you become more? Not done more. I want to make sure we're clear here. Let's not talk about how to do more, but how have you become more? Because out of the becoming more, you can then do more. To do more out of becoming is not a chore. It's actual gradual attraction. To do more out of being more is to attract more out of your life and to be able to move with intensity and with efficiency. And once you do more, then you can have more. And really, being more, being the first step, allows you to not have your identity connected to the results or connected to the outcomes, because you just became the kind of person first before you ever had the fruit of that thing. And so what it is to become a wealthy person, well, what do wealthy people do? Wealthy people, if you do some research, they wake up early typically. Wealthy people typically are very disciplined. They only hang around people that could help them in their future. They make really good relationships and forge really good relationships. They typically have a really phenomenal skill set that they fully lined and walked into. And also they are always learning. They're always educating themselves. They're reading books. They're going to seminars. They're listening and watching the news to understand what's going on in the world. They're reading newspapers. They're listening and reading financial reports, right? They're pouring and becoming more consistently. I heard a podcast today, and the podcast, they said there's no $1 million homes that don't have libraries in them. Catch that, right? There's no $1 million homes that don't have a library in them, because in order to afford that kind of house, right, no matter where you live, $1 million is a pretty nice house, no matter where you live in a part of America. You got to know more. You got to be more. And so that's the reason why if you look at a $100,000 house or $200,000 house, you might not find a library in it. But every $1 million house and above or $2 million house and above all have libraries in them, because that's what those kinds of people have become and have attracted by who they become. And so in this episode, really the impetus is really helping you to accomplish more, but not by doing, but first by being. When it comes to the life that you want to create, how could you become more? What does that look like for you? Is that reading more books? Is that going to more seminars? Is that really first getting clear on what your belief systems are and what kind of life you want to really create? Is that having more conversations? Is that being more relational with others? Is that getting outside of your comfort zone and really embracing what it is to just be that thing, right? Being okay with getting uncomfortable. That's just what we do in our world, right? And just embracing that. Being an entrepreneur and working, long hours and putting a lot of, pouring into building and creating the thing that you want. That's just what entrepreneurs do. That's what we do, and stop feeling guilty for it, right? And so becoming more and not feeling guilty about the becoming, because who you have to become is going to be the thing that attracts the kind of life that you want. In closing, if we realize, and LeBron James happens to be my favorite basketball player, and his lifestyle isn't a lifestyle that many of us could accomplish. It's great to be wealthy. He's a billionaire now. I call him the Billy Goat, the billionaire goat. So he's a Billy Goat, but the amount of times he does not have and sit down and do dinner with his family is probably astonishing. The amount of events that he misses. Though he's wealthy, he does have a pretty tight schedule when he's in the season. The times that he doesn't get to sleep at night with his wife and sleep next to her, right? That's probably more than you have ever experienced or ever fathomed, right? The kind of scrutiny that he's under and the pressure that he's under and the people that he employs and all that kind of stuff, right? If someone like him doesn't become more, he could never do more. And so I believe that when you, for example, are like an athlete, it's very clear on who you have to become. It's very clear that, hey, you're just going to be the person that misses a lot of events. You just miss a lot of holidays. You miss a lot of, think about how many Christmases LeBron James have gotten being able to just hang out. He's always playing a basketball game, and it's sometimes not even in his home state or, where he lives, right? So, he doesn't get to enjoy Christmases like you do. Let's talk about, professional athletes and football players that play on Thanksgiving, right? All those kinds of things. So, I just want to leave you with that. That conventional wisdom says that you to do more, have more, and you will finally be more once you do and have the things. But I want you to realize that by accomplishing just actually leads into exhaustion and burning and overwhelm if you do it with the wrong strategy and the wrong formula. What we should first be doing is becoming more. Once we become more, we can then do more. And once we do more, we can have more. All right? So that is all I got for you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I appreciate all of the rating and reviews. Thank you for checking this out. And remember, go check out the Instagram DM Profits. That is now live at www.instagramdmprofits.com. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Peace.